And if I have to put up with one more groaning noise from the PlayStation as it very slowly switches screens, I'll freak out.
I'll freak out. Much like how I'll freak out over tonight's main event, chat. It is, of course, Game Boy wrestling games. Like I said at the beginning of this, well, first off, chat, welcome to your main show here tonight. It is every WWE/WWF Game Boy game across the entire family of Game Boy systems. That includes the original Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Advanced. Now, like I said at the beginning, most of these I've not really touched all that much in my time. I've only touched one of these, actually, in my lifetime, and we're going to be saving that one for last. But first, we have a lot of these to go through, chat. I have about 10 or so games here for you, and we're going to be spending a bit of time with each of them. Or at least as much time as we can stomach. What does the M stand for? It stands for your mom. Right. Your mom's Game Boy. Alright? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Alright. But yeah, we're going to be playing all of these to some extent here tonight. First off, let me get the proportions down on this a little bit better. So that way you all can see it. Give me just a second. There we are. Alright. This is my very, very real Game Boy here. And we're going to be playing all of these games on it. Give me just a second here. First up is WWF King of the Ring. The amount of ads and product placement WWE nowadays is disgusting. It really is less ran by promoter. Hold on. There we go. Alright, hold on. We're gonna reset that shit. Chat, I want you to, like, just really take in what you're about to hear, okay? This is insane. Yep. I love the cutoff. I love the cutoff on that. That's awesome. Hold on. Oh, LJN. Chat, this game was made by Laugh and Joke and Numbnuts. I can already tell already. Alright, we got one-on-one, tag team, tournament. God, I can barely hear myself talk over this. It's so loud. Okay. Alright, one-on-one.
Hello,
there
Mario.
We go. Oh, shit. Dude, Bit Crush Bret Hart music? Hold on. Oh, we gotta spin this. Oh, goodness. Dude, what does Shawn Michaels sound like? It's just mixed. Dude. What is this mixing? Sexy boy, I'm not your boy toy. Boy toy. Wow. Wow, that's insane. Dude, what about Hulk Hogan? Holy shit. Wow. You know what? I could tell that this is Hulk Hogan's theme better than I could tell that Shawn Michaels' theme was Shawn Michaels' theme. Yokozuna looks like a facsimile of Yokozuna. Shit, Razor Ramon is that fast, huh? Alright, well, who has the most strength here? It seems like legs and goddamn, play macho. Okay, okay. Oh, goodness. This scratches my brain in a bad way. Razor Ramon's picture is crazy looking. Dude, he looks like a forget about it character. Look at him. But chat, oh goodness. That makes me sad, chat. That makes me wince. I'm going I'm going away from that. Wow. That's just Brock Samson. Say hello to the generic thug guy. Alright, chat. Who am I playing as? Am I playing as me here? Am I playing as you, chat? I think we're playing as you, chat. Here, hold on. No, go back. Okay, I wanted to type in chat, but that's not happening. Don't you go blame me now, Steph. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to make this work here. I need to remember that there are only 2 buttons. And then Mr. Perfect's really bummed out about something. I mean, listen, man, if I look like that, I would be bummed out too. Is that you to this game? I mean, chat, like, you gotta understand, we have 2 buttons here, right? There's only so much, like, grappling we could do here. I mean, the best I could do is run, and then do a kick, right? Like, I can run, I could do a kick, I could do a slam, you know? Like, literally all I could do is slam this guy, it feels like. I could do a hip toss, and I could do a, like, a Michinoku, like, half a Michinoku driver. It feels like. Yeah, this is raw as fuck. Wow. Wait, can I go to the outside? Can I, like, dive on him from the outside? Oh, shit! No. No, I can't. But I can, in fact, well, hey! Is there, like, anything that I could do here besides, like, just pick up this guy and slam him? Or no? Like, dude, they don't even do, like, fucking, like, just, like, you know, normal, like, elbow drops. They need to do elbow drop with theatrics. That's insane. There's no music here, by the way, chat. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to friggin' do a dive. Hold on. Come on, Razor. What the? Oh my god! He freaking sold the move before, before I could do a landing. Dude, dueling double downs? Wow. Or what? Oh, hello. Can I, like, just get a count out on him? Or is that not allowed? Dude, why are my kicks not connecting on this guy? What? Okay, I was about to say, where the hell did he go? Dude, he, like, teleported back into the ring, I feel like. All I can do is kicks. Dude, all I could do is kicks. Oh my god. No, let me back in the ring. Oh shit. Oh, okay, don't get, dude. Dude, I wanted that to be a count out really bad. Chat, imagine doing like, imagine doing this like on a car ride or something. Would you do a whole car ride's worth of a WWF King of the Ring? Or are you not about that lifestyle? Why do the crowd sound effects sound like the sound of the ocean? Oh shit. Okay. Dude, this whole game is just like collar and elbow tie-up simulator, I feel like. Like every move happens because of a collar and elbow tie-up. Oh shit. Dude, elbow drop with theatrics. Every freaking, like, grounded attack is elbow drop with theatrics, I'm afraid. Yeah, this is something, isn't it, chat? I'm just kicking the shit out of Razor Ramon here. Literally just kicking the shit out of him. For like 4 straight minutes, I feel like. How long can I go with just kicking him? Before he eventually gets tired and does something. Hold on. Is there any benefit to freaking doing an elbow drop like that? Because I don't think either of us had landed one yet. Oh shit! Wow! Come on, man. Ah! Wow! Dude, he cleared half the ring on that. That's insane. I thought we're just picking you up and slamming you, brother. That's fine. I really don't even know how, like, the tug of war works on this. Do we just, like... Oh, dude. Okay, so, like, the thing about this is that you also can't, like, run towards... Like, you can't run towards the turnbuckle either. Otherwise, you're just going to, eat shit. Come on, I want the elbow drop. Please give me the elbow drop. I want the no, I want it, dude. I want the standing elbow drop. Please. I want the standing elbow drop. Okay.
Nothing beats a cool, refreshing sip of water.
I do in fact have water now, so you know that works. I'll tell you what, you could pop the crowd much faster in 1993, I think is when this game came out. Wait, was this 93? I don't need to check the copyright on it. Oh, shit. Let me in there. Let me in there. Come on, let me land one standing elbow drop. I want to land just one of them, dude. Yeah! Woo! If Yoko's in the game, oh my god. Wait, how do you pin him? Chat, I don't know how to pin Razor Ramon, I'm afraid. Or do you just go until you run out of health? This is the strangest battle of attrition here. Come on, I want to land one. Yeah! Standing elbow drop. Ow. This is lame as hell, dude. I mean, like, chat, chat, you really don't need me to tell you this, but this is lame as fuck. Wait, hit him. 1, 2, what? I'm sorry. No. Scott Hall, you need to stay down. Please, let that be it. One punch. Nah, really? I am me, and I will win. Who will win? Ah! Okay, that's the finish. Yeah! That was awful. Wow. And then sent right back to the title screen, dude. What does King of the Ring look like? It's probably just like a tournament mode, right? That will be chat again. Oh yeah, it's 100% just a tournament mode. Wait, no, never mind. I'm Hulk Hogan. And it seems like they all have the same exact moves. It seems like every wrestler has the same exact moves in this. Randy Savage looks like The Undertaker, chat. I don't know if like I'm the only one that sees that, but Randy Savage looks like The Undertaker in this. Ow. If Yoko's in the game, it was likely 93. Okay. Can I, like, leave? Let's go on from 93 to 94, chat. Let's do Raw. See if that's any better. I mean, I know this is 94 because I'm pretty sure at this point, like, Hogan was already out, right? I think at this point he was already in WCW. It's my life in a box, chat. Collectively, our life in a box. Brawl? One fall. Here, I'll try one fall. Opponent selection. CPU select. Well, who are my oh, goodness. Whoa. This is an insane character select screen, chat. I can almost make out these guys a little bit. Although Doink the Clown looks absolutely nuts. I don't know what I was... I don't know what I was expecting there from Doink the Clown. Why is Brian Clark on the bottom left? Oh shit. My brain is once again being itched in a bad way, chat. I'm not so sure about this music. I was about to say, Lex, please kick in. Wow, this music makes me want to kiss a bald eagle, chat. Alright, well, how about Bret Hart? What does Bret Hart sound like in this one? Okay. Sounds like music that plays before Planet Zebes explodes. It does. It makes me want to play Super Mario World. I know. It is very Super Mario World coded. Okay, this right here's a little better, I would say. I could squint and I can maybe make out that it's Shawn Michaels. Okay, cool. Undertaker, how about that? Undertaker TM, by the way. Every one of these guys is trademarked. How about Yokozuna? I think it's Doink the Clown's the one we gotta go with, chat. Yeah, we gotta go with Doink. Versus Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Oh shit. No way. Dude, are those the graphics? Oh, fuck. Like, finally, there's a bit of music here, at least. At least we're not working in total silence here, you know? Oh shit! Dude, did you see all the frames of animation on that thing? Hold on. How do you grapple in this? You grapple like that? Oh, damn! Okay. I mean, I can already tell that this is a little bit better, you know? But I'm not really sure how you get the upper hand on the graph. I'm not sure how you get the upper hand on, like, you know, grapples in this. I'm just getting spelunked here by Diesel. Let me breathe! Let me breathe! It looks like they rotoscoped the SNES game at the time. It does look like a rotoscoped NES game. How does it have more detail and somehow it still look worse? I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm getting absolutely killed here by Diesel. Come on, dude. If anyone can fight back for this, it's Doink the Clown. Come on. Can we please get a lockup in? Can we lock up? Can we lock up, please? Ah, shit. I'm pretty sure we just did. Dude, Diesel is absolutely destroying me. What? Dude, pin him! He's dead! He's dead! Just pin him, he's already... Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it looks... It looks better and yet somehow worse at the same time. Stop playing that, please. Stop playing that. Stop playing that, please. Okay, thank you. versus Undie. Let's do it. Honestly, I kind of fuck with like this interpretation of this theme. It feels like it's missing some notes. But I fuck with it, you know? Alright, let's do it. I like how Doink's face looks incredibly fucking, like, just complete... Oh my god. Ah!
For life.
Sports nut. What? Sports nut. Thank you for following, I think is how you say it. You're now a member of the Law Boy Club for life. Come on! Come on, come on, come on! How do you get the upper hand on a grapple, dude? Yes! Oh my gosh! Chat! Chat! Chat, I can grapple! I can play this video game now! I can actually maybe play it. It's still doing the thing where, like, it gives separate countouts, it looks like. Ow. What? Dude, he's already Dude, he's already caught back up on damage. What is this? I'll freaking kick you in the gut all night long, brother. I mean, it's Raw in 94. Do you think anybody else is fucking expecting anything more than that? I mean, Doink the Clown and friggin' Undertaker are here to work, dude. Ah! No, 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 no. Please. Yes. Yes. No. No. Come on. Under Doink. Doink under, you could say. Dude, can I get up? Can I get up, please? Or is that not allowed? Wait, hold on. Are there running sound effects in this? That's awesome, dude. You can hear, like, his squeakiness here. Chat, listen. Dude, that's sick as hell. Okay, you know what? You know what? I see the vision. I see the vision of this game. Through it. I see it through the music that continuously gets cut off. Like, dude, this music cannot help but get cut off at every opportunity. Okay, can I please do a top rope move? What? Hold on. This game really makes you feel like you're Doink the Clown, chat. Come on. What? I was about to say, can we lock up? Maybe lock up so maybe I can, you know, get something on Undertaker? Anything? Anything at all? Anything at all? 1, 2. Dude, that's on easy? That's on easy, huh? That's on easy. Well, how about a tag team match? Are these, like, better than, like, you know, the ones that, Ukes has? Or not exactly? I forgot how peaceful Yokozuna's theme was from, back in the day. Did you look it up? Alright, well, right there's my tag team partner, Yokozuna. Versus Lex Luger and Diesel.
Hello,
I
Mario.
will give the game this. That's my big goat, Yokozuna. Well, I can't promise you that, you know, I'm gonna be able to really do anything with him, but I'm gonna try my best. God damn it. Dude, how do you get the upper hand on grapples in this? I'm not about to look up a guide for a Game Boy game, chat. You can't make me. Also, hi, Woobs. Dude, Lex Luger's absolutely digging into me here. Okay, okay. You just fucking go in there. Oh, shit. Oh man, this crunchy Game Boy rendition of the 90s Raw theme. It's the only theme that plays during the matches, Woobs. Do you enjoy it? I'm sorry, you're not no! You will not pick up Yokozuna like that, Lex. You cannot pick up Yokozuna like that. I know what you're capable of, and it's not fucking that. I just hadn't thought about it in years. Come on, can Yokozuna go up? Oh, yeah, you can! What?! Dude. I will say this. So far, it just kind of feels like a normal match. Just that, you know, I have... just that I have Lex Luger completely stomping out both Doink and goddamn... No! How do you do grapples in this, dude? I mean, I know how you get into a grapple state, but how do you, like, actually, like, execute one in this? Is that just not allowed? Oh no, I need to button mash so much, chat. I gotta button mash everything here. Oh my god, I bit him? I'm pretty sure I just bit him there, chat. At least that's what I could make out from you know, the graphics. Dude, you need to button mash like your life depends on it in order to actually grapple anybody, I feel like. Dude, look at Yokozuna's big ass running like that. And the drop kick! Are you kidding me? The drop kick from Yokozuna, are you kidding me? Chat, did Yokozuna ever do drop kicks? I don't think he ever did. I'll admit, I'm not the most knowledgeable on Yokozuna, but I'm pretty sure he never hit a fucking drop kick, okay? Maybe? Maybe he did it once and then he didn't do it again. He was deceptively agile. Was he? You need to like mash like your life depends on it, chat. Yeah, up until about 95 or 96, he could move. Okay, so what you're saying, because this came out in 94, so we are right now in dropkick capable era of Yokozuna. Oh my god, you can bite him with Yokozuna. That's sick as fuck. Go! Venom! Of course, who do you think taught Maven how to do one? The Undertaker. Everything about Maven's career always seems to go back to the Undertaker, so you know. Oh god. Now we gotta deal with Diesel, dude. Up towards the end of his run, he was slowing down. I feel like the end of Yokozuna's run lasted for like 10 years, though, right? Like, he just kept going. I think even Maven would admit that. What would he admit? That the Undertaker taught him the dropkick? Because again, everything about Maven's career, which need I remind you, he spent about 4 years in the greatest job in the world, okay? Hey guys, GirafaStev here, and from 2022 to 2026, I had the greatest job in the world, and and that's being the leader of the Wall Boy Club. Oh Diesel! Oh my god, dude, hold on. I need you guys to look at this rogue pixel on Doink's face. Do you see that, like, pixel there? They went out of their way to give Doink a nose pixel. That's you know what? Sorry to hear you're retiring this year. Hey guys, GirafaStev here. From 2022 to the present, I have the greatest job in the world, and that's being the leader of the Wall Boy Club. Dude, I am getting my shit stomped out here by fucking Diesel. This is a very accurate depiction of fucking WWF at this time, though. Just getting your ass kicked by Diesel. I'm calling bullshit on this game. Kevin Nash does not know this many moves. I mean, what are you talking about? Okay, yeah. I don't think I can win this game, chat. Oh man, we need to hear this again. I'm gonna say no on that. I think it's time we play WWF Superstars, chat. 1991. Okay, we're going further back now. Oh god. The Game Boy can produce mind-boggling effects. Wow. Okay, yeah. We got King Macho right over here. We got the Money Man. We got Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, Hogan. What Hold on. Hold on, do we have an intro here? Is this an intro, or are we just looking at Mr. Perfect? Oh. It's out, dude. Dude, this is like a Backrooms facsimile version of Hulk Hogan's theme. These are like sped up versions of these songs. So we have 5 wrestlers to choose from here. We can pick the $1 Million Man with stars going through his head. Actually, stars are going through everybody's head, I feel like. The only one that's not going through is Mr. Perfect, because he's just that perfect, chat. That is not Ted DiBiase's theme. Are you sure about that, dude? You would doubt that fucking LJN in 1991 would not give the $1 Million Man his music? I know I never heard Ted DiBiase come out of some Sonic Ice level music. Listen, Ice Cap sounded better than this, okay? I think we gotta be the Macho King, chat. Alright, best of 1 fall. No Limit. Against Mr. Perfect. I can take anything you got. Oh yeah, and still beat you. Oh my god. I will perfect plex my way to victory. Wow, dude. Mr. Perfect? Oh yeah, Mr. Imperfect is more like it. They have promos? For a man named Savage, you look like a wimp to me. Honestly, that's sick as fuck. That's sick as hell, actually. Oh my god. I mean, to be fair, these freaking characters look the most like that they look the most like themselves than they ever have, chat. I will give it this. What is that? Hold on. What is this move that you do where you jump towards them? Also, the screen is shaking like crazy, I feel like. Yeah, this game loves it shaking, I feel like. Again, we only have like 2 buttons here to work with, so, well, you know, make of that what you will. Oh my god! How do I do something better than just a punch? Do I just... Oh my god! Takedown, wow. Dude, a fucking flying asshole? Wow. Ah! Whoa! Whoa! Holy shit! Enter the ring. I'm trying, dude. Alright, there we go. So wait, hold on. What is the star that I have here? Running Axe Bomber Lariat. No kidding. Come on, bud. Perfect, you gotta get over. Whoa! Whoa! Dude, Macho Man's knees are killed. Macho Man's knees have been killed to fucking death after that. Oh my, ah! There's no rope breaks in this. Good thing you're wrestling on the moon. That is a good thing. He tried to kick out of the pin, but he didn't have any strength left in him. I've never seen the Macho King look less macho than he does now. Wow. Add yet another victory to Mr. Perfect's perfect winning streak. I do enjoy that this game has like some cool presentation about it. Well, here, I want to try to, like, you know, I want to try to do this against Macho Man again. Come on, I can do this, right? Oh my gosh! Yeah, it's a very good thing I'm wrestling on the moon, actually. What the fu- Okay. Nice. I kind of enjoy the take. Whoa! What was that? I guess I'm just not quite sure how to play this, chat. Does anyone in chat have any clue? Because I definitely do not. Ow. Dude, I'm losing this in record time, I feel like. It's such a humiliating loss. Mr. Perfect's AI broke. He has absolutely no clue what to do here. Come on. Dude, Macho Man is dead. Macho Man is absolutely dead here. And Mr. Perfect does not know how to friggin' do this. Here, hold on. Let's go ahead and try this again. I love the bouncing graphic. Here, hold on. Let's go ahead and let's try someone who's built to win this shit. Hogan. Again against Mr. Perfect. This is gonna be a fight to the finish, big dude. I will perfect plex my way to victory. You know what, Mr. Perfect? You're a perfect disgrace. Brother. Bow down to my perfection, Hogan. I mean, listen, dude. Hulk Hogan is designed to go over. So if anything, this should be a walk in the park, right? So if anything, this right here should be a fucking walk in the park. You know, unless fucking Hogan just decides to die like, you know, Macho Man did. You know, like Macho Man did a minute ago. Oh, damn. Okay. Okay. Hey. Okay. Nice. 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 We can actually do this. We can. We can actually make this shit work. Nice. Yeah, you're right. We are just, like, wrestling on the moon here. And what's more, I don't even know how to do my finish. I don't even think that there are finishes in this game, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I've yet to see one. Like, I don't think Hogan has the leg drop, brother. Tell you what, dude, WCW needs to do something quick. because with action like this, I'm not so sure that this business is gonna last. Okay. Nice. Okay, cool. So is, like, Hogan already, like, balding at this point? Is that why we have him with the bandana here, or is it just because, you know, the bandana's his thing? Whoa, no, let me in! Let me in! Let me in the ring! No, let me in the ring, dude! Are you kidding me? And Mr. Perfect didn't get counted out? A disqualification verdict brings this hard-fought match to an end. A shocking defeat and a rare letdown for the millions of Hulkamaniacs. Add yet another... Yes. What? I'm sorry, he was outside the ring too! That is not how it should... Okay, fine. That's not how it should be working here, dude. You know what? Maybe Superstars 2 will be a little better. Hogan was balding in his late 20s. He didn't even get to the WWF until he was 31, so he's been balding for a while. That's upsetting. Dude, already the music is lesser. Holy shit, chat. Does anyone want to use their Game Boy to link up with me? Here. We could do some Superstars 2 action together. Belt? Regular match. Cage match. Okay, I kind of want to do a cage match here. I'd say that sucks for him, but he did alright for himself. He did, in fact, do that. Are you doing any of the non-WWE wrestling games tonight? I will not be. We're saving that for another time. Sid just looks like Hulk Hogan, but without the bandana. Here, I'll be Macho Man again. Versus The Undertaker. Alright. From Sarasota, Florida, weighing 245 pounds. Macho Man, Randy Savage. And his opponent. From Death Valley, weighing 328 pounds. The Undertaker. Is that the Mountie? I thought that was Sergeant Slaughter for a second. Is that... Oh my gosh, and now we have no music again? You know what, chat? Maybe I can actually win one of these games here. Maybe. Can I run? How do you run in this? I mean, like, chat, it really can't be that hard to learn how to run, right? I mean, we only have like 2 buttons here to work with. Listen, chat, if I see that the Mountie's in this game, I'm going for the belt with the Mountie. Okay. Collar and elbow again. Dude, there's so much collar and elbow in this game. Dude, between all these games, there is so much collar and elbow. It's insane. Oh, wait. Do you have just like a burst of energy that you can apply? I think you just have a burst of energy that you can apply, chat. Okay, I was about to say, there's gotta be a way that you can, like, do top rope moves. Otherwise, this would be a very strange game. Nice. There's no impact on the elbow drops, chat. Also, you can't get... It seems like you can't get, like, on the... like, on the bottom corner posts. You can only get on the top ones. Sometimes you'll just phase through your opponent. That's also okay. Okay, and how do I pin him? Hold on. There we go. Dude, I'm pinning him back style right there. I'm like laying down on him, like with my back. The winner of the match is Macho Man Randy Savage. Alright, tournament. Cage match tournament. The Mountie is in this game. I thought that was Sergeant Slaughter for a second. Chat, I think we need to do the Mountie. I think we gotta fucking roll with the Mountie here on this one. But first, let's go ahead and run an ad, and then we'll roll with the Mountie.
It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
Tired of looking like a fool when your cakes aren't cool? And why do tiny cupcakes take so long to make? Get in the spotlight with Big Top Cupcake, the fast and easy way to make colossal cupcakes that are up to 25 times bigger. Everyone's face will light up when you make a king-size cupcake house. Grab your camera to remember those giant cupcakes your family makes together. It's so easy. Just fill with any cake mix, bake, and decorate. Wow, that jumbo cupcake looks amazing. Big Top's quick-release silicone is flexible and virtually nothing sticks, so a perfect cupcake pops out every time, making it the ultimate party activity. Mix and match delicious flavors like strawberry and chocolate. The possibilities are endless. Look, nothing's more thrilling than a chocolate filling, made easy with our optional Magic Center insert. Fill Big Tops with pudding, mousse, gelatin, even your favorite ice cream. Tiny cupcakes won't do, but 25 times bigger feeds the whole crew. With Big Top, just fill, bake, and decorate. Plus, it's dishwasher safe. Store-bought cakes are so expensive. Metal cake molds stick and cost over $35. But you can join the show now with Big Top Cupcake for $19.95. We'll even include this idea book free. Use the tips inside to make a silly clown face that's sure to get a laugh. But we're not done. We'll give you these awesome animal cookie cutters to make delicious three-dimensional cookies. Make yummy lions or tasty elephants. Fast, easy, and all in 3D. A $20 value free. Just pay processing and handling. You get it all. Big Top Cupcake, idea book, and 3D cookie cutters. Over a $55 value, all for $19.95. You can call now or log on to get yours.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
And welcome back to Raw, everybody. Alright, Mountie. Tournament time. Let's do it. From Canada. Just Canada. No particular province. Weighing in at 245 pounds, not Mountie. And his opponent, I think that's Sid. That is. From West Memphis, Arkansas. Weighing 318 pounds, Sid. Justice. Chat, this is a very solemn game here, I feel like. Holy shit! The Mountie is getting absolutely spelunked here. What? Hey! Sid! Stop! Dude, I should have known that they would do the Mountie dirty like this. I should have known that they would have done the Mountie dirty like this. Dude, I already need to use, like, my little, like, energy buff. I haven't even done anything on him. I've done nothing on this guy. Okay, fucking fine. You know what? We're gonna... you know what? We're gonna cheese it. Eat my Border Patrol fist, you idiot. Alright, here we go. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh my god. Of course he uses this friggin' energy buff here. Dude, I have no choice but to just punch him in the face over and over again. Because literally doing anything else, he just frickin' punishes me for it. Yup. Wait, I'm sorry, you- hold on, it's escaping the cage rules? I thought it was pinning inside the cage. Oh, well, this is like this era of the Fed, so probably shouldn't be surprised. Alright, well, let's go ahead and try that shit again. Oh man, knives. Okay. I'm just gonna keep punching this guy until until something happens here. Oh my god. Okay. Also, chat, I got Jolly Ranchers over the break. I got like one of those like little like cylinder ones that you're supposed to suck on. The purple ones. In fact. The purple ones are honestly some of the best ones, chat. I don't know how you feel about, like, grape-flavored stuff. But, like, I've always enjoyed grape-flavored candies. When I was a kid, people always said that they were, like, I don't know, medicinal. Grape-flavored cherry? Yes! Thank you, Woobs. Thank you. Like, when I was a kid, everyone was like, oh, well, you can have the grape ones. Those are like medicinal. And I'm like, medicinal? What the hell are you talking about? They're literally so freaking sweet. There's nothing medicinal about them, you know? Oh shit. Hold on. Give me just a second here, chat. There we go. We're up. Why are they in prison? Why wouldn't they be in prison? Well, they're in prison because Sid over here was caught by the Mountie crossing over the border, and now the Mountie's taking liberties. I'm pretty sure that's how it works over in Canada. Now, granted, I've never been to Canada, so, you know, I might be a little bit wrong on that. But... there we go. Guys, I have to say, how do I pin him? There we go. Okay! Okay, well, we can actually pin him in the cage, too. Got it. For having scissors. My ass thought that was Sergeant Slaughter. I thought it was Sergeant Slaughter, too! But then I looked at the name and it's like, the Mountie? The Mountie canonically has been to prison before. Hold on, so wait. Was he not the one doing the arresting? Was he the one that was actually arrested? Is that the Mountie lore? Is the Mountie lore that he was actually the one arrested? Even though he's the one that's supposed to be doing the arresting. He lost a match to the Big Boss Man where the stipulation was loser spent the night in jail. Dude, for fucking new generation characters, rather for like 2 friggin' new generation characters like this, that is very inspired, I gotta say. I gotta say, that's very inspired. How do you run in this? Because I have no clue how you run in this thing. Oh my god! Just vaulting him over. The Mountie had a prison cell match with the Boss Man. Yeah, now he's having a prison cell match with the Undertaker here, as you can see. Come on. There we go. My roommate walked over here to see what I was playing, and he couldn't believe his eyes. Here he is now. Here he is now. Colin, what do you think of this right here?
I think I'm witnessing the end of the actual universe as we know it.
God damn it. I mean, like, dude, you were about to, because the freaking Undertaker was about to walk out of this cell here.
The Mountie?
The Mountie, yeah, the Mountie versus the Undertaker. This right here is peak, like, early 90s new freaking generation wrestling here.
They're gonna need a new generation after the Undertaker gets creamed by this boy.
Dude, watch this. I'm about to do it. Maybe.
Okay, I'm watching.
I'm about to do it. Maybe.
I'm not moving from this spot till you take me down.
Got him. 1, 2. Ah, really?
Ooh.
Mean Mark Callis. Hold on.
Why does the Undertaker look like a Reddit moderator?
A Reddit moderator?
He's got the fedora, he's tipping it over his eyes.
I've never heard this version of The Undertaker described like that. Alright, and the stipulation was that the loser needs to spend the night in jail. The Undertaker's going to prison, brother.
The Mountie, period.
Alright, cool.
I'm glad they got that figured out.
Thank you. Thank you for your input.
Anytime.
Alright. That's Macho Man, right? Yeah. Alright, chat. I'm pretty sure we get the idea here, right? Let's move on. Next up, WWF Warzone. Right, now we're getting into the Attitude Era here. This was originally supposed to be Taker versus Kali, but Kali had elevated liver enzymes. Oh, that was the actual stipulation of the match. Loser gets elevated liver enzymes. The loser gets elevated liver enzymes, and the Undertaker lost. So yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Maybe no jail. Maybe elevated liver enzymes. Winner gets a liver transplant. Alright, let's see here. WWF Challenge. Okay, now we're in the Attitude Era, so I'm kind of expecting a larger roster. Let's see what this is. Shawn Michaels. His name is Kane. Ken Shamrock. Steve Austin. Farouk. Goldust. Triple H. Mankind. Owen Hart. Rocky Maivia. Wow. The British Bulldog. Dude, he's gonna get his title shot. Ahmed fucking Johnson.
If you want to step up to play D, bring it on.
Step up to Punchy, dude.
If you want to step up to play D, bring it on.
Dude. Look at all of these legends and Ahmed. Don't you fucking dare speak ill of Punchy, brother. Eat the juice makes sugar. Okay. Chad, I feel like we're gravitating towards Ahmed Johnson here. Ahmed has the biggest booba known to man. Dude, he's built like a brick shithouse here. Look at him. I mean, like, you can barely make him out because of the pixelation here, unfortunately. But look at him. He looks like a brick shithouse. He has the cartoon muscles. The size of the roster has gotten bigger. I mean, like, we actually have a pretty, like, decent roster here. Davey Boy Smith, Chinlock, fuck yeah. Chat, should I play as Ahmed Johnson or Goldust? Because those are the ones I'm gravitating towards. Where's Dynamite Kid? That's I don't think he was here in like 95, 96, was he? Booba, man. Alright, Ahmed Johnson, let's do it. Alright, so chat, we're not gonna be doing all of this, okay? But we are gonna do at least a couple matches. It takes more than you could imagine to become the King of Hearts. It also takes stepping up to Punchy. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see what it takes to... Oh, shit. Is this the sole music track here, chat? Like, are we just gonna be listening to this for the next minute? I don't know how to play this, chat. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Dude, like, he just keeps grabbing me from the back end doing, like, suplexes. I don't know how you're supposed to do this. Oh, wow, neither of them even look like humans. Dude, friggin' Owen Hart looks like Killer Kowalski. Owen Hart looks nothing like Owen Hart, dude. How do you... Dude, how? Dude, am I about to lose this match because I don't know how to... He looks like Dean Malenko in a singlet. We're gonna try this again. How far can I get by just punching Owen Hart in the head? There's no way I can't get up after a single fucking thing. Unless freaking up. What? What kind of reach is that? He's rolling around on the floor like he's having night terrors. He's seeing dude, he's seeing himself in like Harlem Heat 2000 right here. He's seeing his future as Big T in WCW. Oh shit! Oh shit, I did something there. I don't know what I did, but I did it. He's dreaming of Farouk beating his ass crazy. He's getting spelunked. Okay, chat. Chat, I've picked up a lot of phrases from my from my time in this space, and I need to say the shit that has completely just broken me beyond repair. The saying that has broken me beyond repair is getting spelunked. Like I cannot think, dude, whenever anybody says getting spelunked, just absurd images enter my head. Like, what do you mean you're spelunking his ass? You're going, dude,
Hello,
you're
Mario.
going in so deep. Like, you're going in insanely deep in order to get to that point. What do you mean? Stop atomic dropping me! Also, hi, Dazzle. How are you doing? This is Warzone on the Game Boy. This here is WWF War. Oh my god, I literally thought that he was like doing like a float over like neck breaker of some kind. Okay. There was in fact a Game Boy version of Warzone, and you're looking at it, dude. It's not very good. I have no clue how to play this game. The past 2 years of my life are just that one meme about how Deadlock irreversibly altered my vocabulary. Exactly, like, I can't see corn now and not think of eating corn the long way, okay? This honestly might be worse than the console version of Warzone. This is rancid, chat. This is straight up cheeks. My roommate's over here again, and he's like doing like the fucking like thing where like you where like you do like the knife edge across your neck, where it's like, nah, we can't do this, man.
Sorry, bro. You fail.
I do fail. Dude, when I'm playing WWF Warzone on the Game Boy, I have no choice but to fail.
Mario.
We just get fail with all caps across the entire screen with an exclamation point. It's the only thing I would want out of any video.
That-
Is for it to just say fail. Fail! You failed!
What if you want to go to heaven, but God said, you fail? Fail? Man, look at how I could be playing this game right here. But I have no clue how to play it.
COD Warzone wishes it was this game.
COD Warzone? Absolutely the fuck not.
Wishes.
Okay, well maybe I'll have better luck with Kane, chat. My name is Kane. Versus... who would be like a decent like opponent for him? Like who would lose to Kane here? Like out of everyone here in 1995-6, who the fuck is losing to Kane? I think it's Gold Dust, chat. How is this worse than the Acclaim Engine PS1 games? Bulldog is losing to Kane? Either him or Rocky Maivia too. I can't believe Utaker was in the WWF. I can't believe it either, dude. Rocky would eat the pin real nice. That's what I'm saying, dude. Also, hello, Deontay. How you doing? Oh, wow. This was during Maivia? It was, dude. Kane looks like Mankind, dude. Dude, I was about to say, are you telling me that Kane cannot get up from a friggin' Rocky Maivia clothesline? Get out of here, dude. Dude, is there a single one of these wrestling games that's Solid Snake? It's Solid Snake in a singlet. Wow. I didn't know he had that. I didn't know he had it in him. How do you do a grapple in this? There's no way! Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. You know what? We're gonna get some revenge on Owen here. The fanny pack is too strong. The fanny pack? Is Kane wearing the fanny pack? This right here is just rolling around on the mat simulator. What is this? Oh my god, okay. No, Rock. Dude, Rocky Maivia did not eat that pin. He took... Wait. No, this was 98. This was 98. Kane looks so chunky in this game, dude. He looks so incredibly scuffed. There's no way this was 98, chat. Like, I feel... No, there's no way. Because, like, Rocky Maivia was already done by this point, right? Am I wrong? It's like Rocky Maivia, like, that was already fucking done at this point, right? It's like a backrooms version of Goldust. I like that Goldust looks like Goldust. I will say that out of all of the characters in this game, Goldust looks the most like who he's supposed to look like. I really just feel like the majority of this game is just mashing buttons and hoping that you grapple. How does Goldust look more like The Rock than The Rock? The Rock. How is it that the game from 91 had multiple music tracks and yet this one from 98 has only one? Well... I mean, do you want the answer? The answer's probably Acclaim. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, chat. This is butt, chat. I'm gonna move on. That is shit from a butt. Game Boy Color now. We have WWF. I mean, you know what it is. It's WWF Attitude, chat. 99 style. It literally looks like Goldust has Rock's sunglasses and eyebrows. I mean, he looks like Goldust, like, literally, like, if you squinted, you could see Goldust. You know? Oh my god! Whoa, nice graphics! Dude. There we go. Wait. I saw biographies there. We got Taka Michinoku in this shit? No way. Dude, he's got the Michinoku driver. We got, old Double J. Jeff Jarrett. The inverted Russian leg sweep. Does he not have the stroke in this? I guess not. We got Shattered Dreams for, Goldust. We got the big boss man. Big boss man. We got... Wait, that is the stroke. Oh, okay. Excuse me for not knowing my move names. Money shot. We got Gangrel, Edge. Do we have Christian in this? Or no, it is, are we not good enough for, Christian Cage yet? Dude, you got, like, these weird facsimiles of these characters. You got badass Billy Gunn. The butt kisser, because you can't have the ass kisser in there, chat. No, no, no. Little Timmy can't be seeing that on the back of the... He can't be seeing that in the back of the car. They use modern-day Val Venus in that headshot.
Whoever left out Christian Cage in this game obviously didn't have a father.
I heard you had a father on the dev team, but your father's dead. Alright, well, let's go ahead and let's do an exhibition here first. I mean, like, this roster's, like, pretty decent for the time, chat, I feel like. I mean, like, this is a pretty good, like, summation of what you got here. No head. Oh my god, did he have head there? He did have head! I'm pretty... Dude, why does he look like he's in Right to Censor? Taka Loki random as hell. I know! Like, Taka Michinoku being in this game feels so random. You know what? I'm gonna be Jeff Jarrett, chat. That's for my opponent. Oh, shit. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kick the shit out of Val Venus as a treat. I heard that, or Val Venus will just kick the shit out of himself. Oh, nice! One! Nah! Alright, we're gonna get this chud, chat. The biggest chud in all of wrestling today. We're gonna get him. So it seems like in this you have... So, like, I can kind of understand what's going on a little bit more here. But still not, like, the best thing ever. This looks like it plays almost exactly like goddamn Warzone. It even moves like Warzone. One. Two. Nah, are you kidding me, dude? Oh, shit. I want to win just one match with fucking Double J, chat. This opening Intercon... Dude, you're right. This would be an Intercontinental title match, wouldn't it, in 1999? This right here would be an IC title match. What kind... No, I refuse to believe that he had that kind of movement, chat. There's no way. I was about to say, like, Val Venus is wrestling like he wants to get signed by WCW. He's wrestling like he wants to be the chosen one, and not Jeff Jarrett. Well, you know, if I could maybe do a thing here, that would be nice. So apparently this game has 20 people in it compared to the 42 people. I mean, that's like half the roster. I feel like for what this is, that's honestly not too bad.
Hello, Mario.
Oh, nice! Yes! Yes, vertical suplex. Another vertical suplex. Another one. Oh, shit. Dark Raven. Your tweets piss me off, Slap Nuts. I love Nyla Rose. And so does that Slap Nuts GirafaStev in the Long Boy Club. Oh shit. No, we can't be losing the Val Venus here, chat. We can't be losing the Val Venus here in this. Can I... Wait, can I, like, do a dive? Can I or can I not do... Yeah! Whoa! Okay, dude. Okay, well, fucking Jeff Jarrett's wrestling like he wants to get signed, too. Wow. No. That was an okay wrestler, but his appeal was definitely his gimmick. For sure. Hello, ladies. My favorite part of one of the recent deadlocks is that on an episode of Raw in the UK, they sent Val Venus out there for for a match with Triple H, and he gets no reaction, which is honestly just a really good thing. I'm very, very glad that he gets no reaction. Hello, ladies. Val, it's 20 feet away. It's like, how do I do my finisher in this, chat? I'm trying to get the upper hand here on Val, but it's just hard. Ah, you're kidding me, dude. Did he wrestle recently? Nah, that's not right. No. So with the note... Wait, hold on. No, we're dead. One. Oh, kick out! Kick out! Hey, yo! How the fuck do I do the stroke in this? Owen Hart is shocking, TBH. Kinda is, isn't he? Hold on. Here, I'll go ahead and try. Have you got what it takes to be all the superstars at their peak? I don't think so. Man, dude, even the game doesn't cut you a break here, I feel like. Wait, I have to face Triple H first? Fine. Dude, this plays almost exactly like Warzone, actually. Nice. One. Only one. But no, like, Owen Hart is a pretty, like, shocking omission. I want to die by the time the game came out. I think Vince and Martha were already in a legal battle. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's pretty fair. Oh my god, dude, you already hit the pedigree? Thank you for the 7-stream watch streak, brother. I appreciate that. Nice. No. Get out of here. I don't think this Jarrett kid's got what it takes. They're sending back to WCW wrestling where he came from. But no, like a recent episode of Deadlock, it featured a match between Triple H and Val Venus, and in the match, Triple H just fucking brains Val Venus with a steel chair hard way. And I'm just like, you know what? Usually I would celebrate that kind of thing, but the fact that it's Val Venus just makes me very happy. Okay, chat, I think... Hold on. I actually kind of want to reset this. Not training mode. Is there, like, a training mode for this? Or no? Like, what does the training mode look like? What? Sable? So wait, how do I do, like, the Russian leg sweep? Or like, you know, like, the... You know, the stroke. Like, how do I do that? Of course, Jared's beating up a woman in this era. Dude, it couldn't have been any... Dude, it couldn't have been any more perfect of this time here. Honestly, could not have been more perfect. Jared continuing the misogynist gimmick. Chat, I think I'm figuring the game out. Maybe. You just keep doing inverted atomic drops until the sun comes up, and then you're and then you're golden. I'm trying to, like, do the stroke on her, but I don't really know how to do it. Jeff doing this, thinking about how he's gonna go into Vince McMahon's office with a machine gun and hold him up. Yeah, he's over here training for fucking holding him up. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just invert it. Just atomic drops up the fucking wazoo, chat. That's all I know how to do here. I don't even know how to do the stroke. And dude, I know, listen, I know that you can fucking do the stroke. I saw Triple H do his pedigree in the first 5 seconds of the match. And you're telling me that I can't do it on this? Unless I need to do it from the front. Which maybe I do need to do it from the front. I don't know. Alright, cool. Alright, I think... Okay, I think we get the idea, right, chat? Whatever. Listen, I've accepted I'm not good enough to know how to do the stroke. It's okay. Jeff continuing his gimmick of being a misogynist. WrestleMania 2000. Sable is prepping for bedroom time with Brock. Honestly, yeah. Alright, here we go. WrestleMania 2000. Biographies. You know what? I'm just gonna look it up real fast because I would like to do a finisher in this. How to do finishers in WrestleMania 2000 Game Boy Color. I'm literally looking this up, chat. Oh no, I already know what... Dude, I got a preview. No. This right here is for the Nintendo 64. I know how to do it for the Nintendo 64, dude.
I don't know. All I know is how to headbutt your...
How to hit a finisher. I do not need to flick the stick. Why are they Smurfs? No one will know. Alright, well, let's see who we have here. We have Stone Cold. We have The Rock. Ken Shamrock still. Wow. Val Venus gets 4th billing? That's insane. We got Jeff Jarrett, Billy Gunn, X-Pac, The Big Show, Triple H, Shawn Michaels in his commissioner attire. That's insane. The Undertaker, Kane, dude, all red Kane. Can someone, hold on, can someone like screenshot this Kane here before they put the Virtual Boy filter on him? Big Ball Man, Road Dogg, and Mankind. I could have sworn that the roster was larger than this, chat. I could have sworn the roster was larger than that. This is a very good music loop, by the way, chat. Very, very, very good music loop. Maybe they're unlockables? Maybe. Here. Championship. Choose the degree of difficulty of the CPU. I don't know what these vitals are, chat. Why does X-Pac just look like a truncated version of the Big Show here? Is it because they're both, like, folding arms? Alright, cool. It's like Mario before getting a mushroom. Vince. Oh, God. I don't like this, chat. McMahon 316 says, I've got the brass to fire your ass if you smell what the Dude, why is he stealing like 3 gimmicks here? Danger. There he is. That's Ken Shamrock, brother. You'll see why I'm the world's most dangerous man. The Big Show versus Ken Shamrock. An impending lawsuit. That is honestly just what it is. Wow. This is something, isn't it? Dude, I could just fucking decapitate him here. Wow. You know, maybe if he would stay down for it. It's sad to see 2 esteemed members of Up Yours fighting. Weren't they both part of the union? I mean, you really do hate to see two fucking boys go at it like this, you know? Whoa, okay. I mean, listen, I'll take it. Wait, this is happening at Mania? I mean, this does feel like a Mania 2000 match, though. You know, it's shit, for one thing. Advance Wars music! Chat, I've been told by, like, many of my friends that I should try Advance Wars, especially since I enjoy Fire Emblem. They think that I would really enjoy it. Okay, well, how do I pin him? And moreover, how do I do the showstopper? In one of these games, I need to be able to hit a finisher, right? Or am I just stuck with, like, the leg drop? And scoop slams? Oh my god, Tombstone! Couldn't be a Mania 2000 match. It's a singles match, and they don't have them. They don't believe in them at that point. Well, listen, believe this, man. I actually won a match. You just got the showstopper. You did fucking not, dude. You did not. I couldn't hit it. Alright, well, who's my next opponent? Do we just need... Oh boy, he's an ass man, chat. Boo, boo! I'm the premier, the primo, the perfect man. Alright, the Big Show versus Billy Gunn. If the Big Show did a crossbody off the top rope, it would be, sorry, what would it be? It would be called the Heart Popper. I mean, listen, you're over here giving me ideas. Why do I need to go on the top? Oh shit! Oh man. TNFJ password. The only kind of password that you need. Dude, why are we out here doing tombstones? I cannot hit, dude, I can't hit any of my top rope moves on this. Don't mess with the Big Show, he knows how to do a top rope drop kick at this point. Yeah, I know, I mean, like, at this point, he could move, you know? At this point, he could actually kind of move. Big Show beat the shit out of Lanny Poffo. He did, man. Remember the cage match with No, I don't. Dude, he had a cage match with freaking Braun Strowman? Why can't I not hit my... Ah, hey! Dude, I'm pretty sure that's the first, like, submission move that we've seen across all of these games. I'm pretty sure that's the first time that we see a submission move. So yeah, the whole crowd is naked. Everyone dude, everyone in the audience showed up for their gear. It's fan appreciation night. The nudist WWE. Or WWF, I should say, in this time period. This is very clunky to play, chat. I really hope that's clear. If I just watch me play this, I hope it's very clear how fucking clunky this is to play. The year is 1999. This is a WWF match. The year is 2026. This is an AEW match. I mean, you're right, man. This could happen in AEW in the current day. Come on! God damn it. Dude, I want to hit my top rope knee drop. Are you kidding me? I really want to hit my top rope knee drop on the badass Billy Gunn. The whole crowd is being played by an naked idiot. Dude, that's awesome. That's fucking base as hell. Wow. What? Okay. All right, hold on. You know what? I think I've seen enough of this. I think I've seen enough of this. Are you still institutionalized? I'm not sure Paul White could go at just a hunch that Paul White can't go at this level anymore. All right. Chat, I think that we need to move on here. Now we're at the Game Boy Advance era here. Jack's Pacific Natsume made this shit. What? Oh God. Wow, whoa. Dude, look at these. These are nice graphics, you gotta admit. Whoa, nice graphics indeed. Dude, you got multiple arenas? Wow. And multiple match types, and you can change the rules like this? Dude, imagine playing a 60-minute match on Game Boy Advance. That's insane. Yeah, like this has to be the sickest shit ever here. I mean, I'll be honest, the menu is really like, it's really disorienting, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so we have Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H in peak cycle here. The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Kane, Jericho, Benoit, Billy Gunn, like looking like he's straight-laced, got a desk job and a mortgage. Billy Gunn, Rikishi, Edge, Christian, Bubba Ray Dudley, the Hardys, the freaking APA, Eddie Guerrero, Raven, Taz, Hardcore Holly, X-Pac, Regal? Dude, this roster is actually kind of sick. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, this roster is actually kind of sick for what it is. I think we gotta play as Christian, right? Reserved. Yeah, for a freaking GBA game, this roster is good. All right, well, I'm gonna show Billy Gunn why he should stay in the office. The one Billy Gunn. Oh shit. Wow, this is sick. I don't think this is Edge and Christian's music though. The one Billy Gunn. You know what? You know, I think we're right where we need to be, chat. I think we're right where we need to be. This is sick as hell. It's so sick they got Christian's first singles theme in here. Fight! Okay. Okay, we actually have buttons to work with now. Okay, let's actually try to make something work here. Oh, damn. Hold on. Why does he look like Alberto Del Rio? Alberto? I'm making sure that Billy Gunn only has the ass at this point. Wow, that's crazy, dude. Wait, hold on. Okay, good. I figured out grappling. I figured it out. Kind of. I don't know. Austin Colton God just vanished into thin air. Guns up, brother. All that's left now is Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Ace Austin, which honestly, that's a fucking awesome trio. This is Fire Pro. Dude, it really does look like Fire Pro, doesn't it? No shot, dude. Chat, tag yourself as members of the crowd. I'm the Fred Durst cosplayer. I'm the guy that looks like Shag, dude, I'm the guy that looks like Violet J without the freaking face paint. Oh, nice. So, chat, how do I know if I have a finisher ready? Like, how do I know I could do the unprettier? I'm the guy in the white glasses at the Dudley's jersey. Give up? Give up? Dude, chat, I don't know if it's just me, but this ring is like supremely tiny. Oh shit.
It's almost time for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Mod, if I got a mod in here, can we snooze that? I would like that very much, thank you. I don't want to miss a second of the hot action here between Christian Cage and Billy Gunn. Again, another match that could happen in AEW right now. Another potential AEW match right here. I'm being told we gotta do. I'm being told we gotta go to break, but fuck that, son. Christian and Billy are really going at it. I mean, fucking Billy Gunn's becoming infertile right before our very eyes, King. Ah! Ah, infertility! Infernal? Ah! How the f- Oh hey, I found the Irish Whip! I found Irish Whip! I found the Irish Whip! Ah, where's Tori? Will you sit your ass down and shut up, King? My favorite part of the Deadlock like episode where they're talking about the season 2 finale of NXT is that there's apparently like a goddamn video package of Kelly, and it has a lot of sound bites from Jerry Lawler, and Johnny just gets really fucking upset at that, as anyone would. I love the dog chewing bone on submissions. Chat, I'm afraid I don't know how to play this again. Like, it's gotta be like a tutorial or something, right? Or am I just out of luck here? Alright, we'll go ahead. It looks like dude, it really does have
It's
like
break
Advance
time.
Wars vibes.
Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
I'll be back in a minute.
What can you freeze, then squeeze for slushies that please?
Squeezy Freezy!
The next slushy Lucian has arrived.
Let's get slushified! It's so slushy!
Squeezy Freezy is the coolest new slushy maker that'll have your whole family's taste buds chillin'.
What's so cool?
Yeti will show you.
Freeze this.
Just freeze the polar cup, add your favorite cold drink, add the lid, wait for 2, then all you do is...
Squeezy. Freezy.
Slurp it up. And how's it feel?
Like an Arctic chill.
Wake up in the morning with a frosty orange juice. Just squeeze and let loose.
Whoa! Frozen!
Squeezy Freezy, a yummy lemon lime treat after school.
Totally cool.
Or freeze a refreshing pink lemonade snack and create an Arctic blast.
Now that's rad.
No cubes, no shaking, just easy squeezing and making. The secret's in the squishy polar chambers. Using Arctic freeze technology, just squeeze your drink and it turns into a tasty frozen treat.
Slushalicious.
Now when chilling with friends, the frosty sensation never ends.
Rain freeze.
Mix and match flavors to get slushy treats that can't be beat. From an orange slush to frozen fruit punch, slushify any flavor you crave. And when you're done, just rinse and refreeze your polar cup and you're ready for the next one.
Squeezy freezy.
You can call or log on to get your Squeezy Freezy kit and pick from 4 different colors of polar cups. Get an Arctic Dome lid, the special slushy spoon straw, and the Squeezy Freezy guide with funny yummy drinks inside.
Yeti's not included.
Everything for $19.99 plus $8.99 processing and handling. And so you can share the Arctic fun with everyone, we'll double your entire Squeezy Freezy offer free with your paid order. You must be 18 or older to order.
Squeezy freezy.
Om nom nom, oh excuse me, we're back my dudes.
If you're talking, we can't hear you. Oops, sorry. Here, let's call them all again. Call them all again. All right, chat. Welcome back for break. Here, this is WrestleMania. Road to WrestleMania 18 here. I was kind of jamming to the intro music, but not quite with this. This is a lot going on. I'm not a fan of this, if I'm being honest. Hardcore. Yeah, let's do a hardcore match. We've not really done anything like that in one of these games yet. I'll be The Rock. Yeah, this is these oh my god. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, I was not expecting that.
If you smell
Oh shit!
is cooking.
Okay. I was expecting the soundbite in there, chat. Wow. There's so many frames of animation in this chat. Wow. This is, dude, I smell it. I don't know if I want to, though. Wow. This is, something. I'm gonna be honest. This is really something. The animations, dude, everything in this just feels slower. Dude, like, all the budget went to the animation. Look at this. These are like mannequins of these characters. And I'm not gonna lie, chat, the music is like unsettling. I don't know about you, but this is making me feel very uneasy. I feel like something bad is going to happen. Just like the movement of these characters and the music, it's like haunting almost. Okay, well hold on. I want to see I want to see something here. That took me by complete surprise, I'm not gonna lie. This sprites remind me of a Harvester. It's slower, but so much smoother. No, I know, but the fact that it's smoother... But, like, the smoothness adds to the slowness, right? Because everything just takes, like, so long to come out now, you know? I want to see how they do Chris's theme. Ah, no, they took out the at last part. Come on. They took out the at last soundbite, dude. Not as... Yeah, these are like mannequins of these characters, dude. I'm just not so sure what to think about this. This is very, they got the uncanny look of, like, real actors. They kind of do. This, like, backrooms, like, Mortal Kombat graphics. These are, like, backrooms Mortal Kombat graphics. I don't really know what to do here. Nice drop kick. Can I win a match in this? Is the question. I mean, not like that. Like, everything just... Dude. It just takes so long for anything to come out here. Shag, tag yourself in the crowd. I'm Judy Bagwell with the Popeye arms and gold chain. Judy Bagwell is an incredible shout. Oh, hey. Oh, hey, look, Happy. There you are again. I'm the guy with... I'm the guy that looks like fucking Steve Corino in an ICP shirt. I look like Steve Carino, but if I had an ICP shirt. All right. Can I do my... All right, can I do my signature? That is not my signature. That is not the Unprettier. Unless... There's 2 John Bloods in the crowd also. John Bloods in the crowd? That's base as fuck, dude. How do you do your finisher in this? I mean, I pressed like the L button multiple times during these games and nothing's really come out yet. Are we just destined to do this shit forever here? Oh shit! Inferno DDT! Wow! Okay. Okay, I'm pretty sure I found the finisher button. And I think I pinned with... Oh, no, Dude, they added rope breaks! I don't know what... Chat, I don't know if, like, you see this too. Oh, no, he's gonna pedigree me. Nope. No, okay. We're fine. But no, chat, I don't know if you see this too. Wait, why am I not doing my shit? Looked it up. Hit A and a specific arrow combo. No way. That can't be right, chat. Also, hold on. I literally cannot play the game now. What is happening? Hold on, give me a second, chat. Give me a second. Hey! Hold on, we're gonna go ahead and read... Well, I'm resetting my Game Boy here. Give me a second. Because for some reason, my Xbox controller is not working very well. It's him in the time machine wanting BWO. No, chat, I don't know if you're seeing this too, but the graphic design of this game makes you think of, like, Need for Speed from this time. Like, this fucking game makes me want to play a Need for Speed game. Excuse me. Wow. Hold on a second, chat. For some reason, my Game Boy is being a little strange right now. Give me a second. Just out of nowhere, it stopped reading my inputs. I don't know why. Give me a second. All right. Here. Yeah, let's try it again. Let's fucking try this again. Give me a second. Or no, it's A-B pressed together and then the arrow combo? Is that what I'm hearing? No, just A-B. Okay. second here, chat. There we go. All right, cool. I want to win one match in this. I know I could do it now. The first one that I can win a match in, and it plays like dog doo-doo. Of course, this is the one that plays like doggy doo-doo that I can actually win a match in. Alright, Kane versus Triple H, a early 2000s classic here. Alright, let's do it. Seems like every arena has... has its own music. And they were like, dude, we need to make this just as slow as an actual Kane and Triple H match. They really went into that dev room and said, we need to make this just as slow as an actual Kane versus Triple H match. Come on. Okay, well, all of a sudden I can't fucking do it, chat. I'm not good enough. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. There we go. Nice. Alright, can I go to the top? Oh, yes. Ah, are you kidding me? Come on, man. Dude, every other game, they're like flying, but in this one, it's just like, I don't know what that means, dude. My name is Kane. Whoever Ock is, I hope that he's doing well. I hope he know how. I hope he knows how much that woman in the front seat loves him. I mean, that's Dr. Otto Octavius for you, brother. Please put some respect on a Hall of Fame name. All right, get him up. All right, it's A-B pressed together. That's a weird looking Hogan sign. Like, that's supposed to be his name. No, like, I've never seen a Hogan sign like that. You're right. I'm trying to do the choke slam on this guy, man. Hey, no! 1, 2. Okay, good. Oh, we did it! Choke slam! Hell yeah, dude. 1, 2. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you gotta wait for the graphic to fly in? Wow. That's some bullshit, dude. You gotta wait for, like, the text to fly in order for the in order for the 3 count. You gotta wait for the flying 3 count text in order to come up. Wow. I'll let you hit your finisher, but you're not going over on my account. Gotta look good, brother. Okay, fine. Challenge mode. Championship. What does championship mode even look like? Okay, we're gonna go with Kane. Hardcore championship on Raw? No, I don't want to do a tag team match. No, I don't want to do a tag team match. Wait, only like certain guys could go for certain titles? We only have room at the top for certain guys, man. Sorry. Wait, hold on. So, like, these guys have certain titles they can go for, then. Tagging with The Rock against Test and Booker T? That's a house show match, brother. That is a house show match, yeah. You're right. Intercontinental title. So, like, they can only go for certain belts, then, it looks like. Of course, Hogan has the undisputed title, dude. Everyone could go for the hardcore title in this, it looks like. Well, I think Christian... Really? Are you kidding me, dude? Hogan has to insert himself into the hardcore title scene, huh? No. We're big leaguing that shit, dude. No. There's no way that Hogan can fucking compete for the hardcore title, dude. That's not gonna happen. It's like a marching band version of Christian's theme. I'm pretty sure this is not Reverend Devon just yet. This right here is... This right here looks like normal, like... It looks like normal version Devon here. Remember to donate to the Devon Church Fund. Oh, my brother. Testify. Nice. So wait, how do you like... So how do you like do a submission here? Bubba Ray is hardcore champ though, and Reverend Devon was at the same time. I don't know, WWE was never too accurate with their games. That's very true. Oh hey, I found the submission button. Christian Cage chinlock, fuck yeah. Dude, everything in this is so fucking slow. Everything in this game is so goddamn slow, dude. I love Ock. That's honestly, dude, that is honestly what it says. We all love Ock in this house. Hey. We all fucking love ourselves some Ock. Hey. Oh shit. Nice. Well, yeah, I went to the well once too many times with that shit. Oh! Inverted DDT! There we go. One, two. Really? Come on, man. No. What the? Hey! Okay, I was about to say, that is not your finisher, dude. Get out of here. Oh no, fucking back body drop. No. Please. Please. Please, 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 please. I will not let you do another one on me, dude. Oh shit. Please. We're gonna try again.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! Holy crap, we can holy crap, we can win a match in these games, chat. It took like 8 games, but we did it. we won a match. Christian. Alright, recovery up. Wait, again? Oh my brother, they want themselves some Devon. Testify! Modern Christian gets Devon would tell a good story. Devon, I know you had a father, and so did 10 of your siblings. But that father is now dead. That really is like what the feud would be like, though. That is in fact what the feud would be like. Hey. Okay, well we have... Here, I'll do this last match and then we'll move on to our second to last game, chat. Because we got 2 more. Oh, damn. Okay. Alright, Devon, you're actually putting up a fight here. I see you, man. I'm not even sure if you can reverse... Oh, damn! Yeah, like, I'm not even sure if you can reverse stuff in this game, chat. I mean, I don't think either of the Dudleys still work, though, right? Jeez! Ow! It really is like dog bone crunching sounds. Bubba for sure, but Devon is now retired. I figured that much, but yeah. Yeah, I just don't really know how to play these Game Boy games, I think, chat. I don't think I'm good enough for them. I just don't think I'm good enough for them, chat. I know Big Daddy Dudley was your father, but your father's dead. Now I'm the father. It would be something around those lines, I know for a fact. Come on, Christian. You have... Dude, Devon's already put... Dude, Devon is, like, cracked right now. What? Christian Dudley, LMAO. The most religious Dudley. He's the most religious of the Dudleys. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I think we're done here, chat. I don't know how to... Yeah, I don't know how to do that, man. You kidding me? Loser. Oh, wow. You just keep on going in this mode, huh? Alright, well, I think we get the idea here. Let's fucking move on to, let's move on to, Survivor Series. I know British wrestling legend Big Daddy was your daddy, but now he's dead. Raw, SmackDown, WWE, indeed. Man, dude, if I was like 12 years old in the back of the car with this, I would be hype as fuck. Survivor Series. Story mode? Huh? Oh. That is it's a skinwalker Vince McMahon. Ugh. Dude, why is he so greasy? Welcome to the WWE. I'm Vince McMahon. I'll bet you wanna... Hold on. I'm Vince McMahon. I'll bet you wanna make a name for yourself and go down in WWE history. Well, I will let you in on some tips. There are 2 shows, Raw and SmackDown. There are 3 championships on each show. To become a legendary champion in the WWE, you will have to earn every championship. Listen carefully to the GMs from each league. Do you understand? No. Let's go over it again. Choose a show. I mean, both of these are tempting, dude. I feel like we gotta go with SmackDown here. He looks like he was found in the files. Why does he look like that? He looks like he was coated in the same stuff that fucking, Sonic was coated in Sonic Heroes. Chat, I'm gonna pick Rey Mysterio because if you're not familiar with this specific game, the moment that you see Rey Mysterio stacked up to anybody else on the roster, you're gonna want to jump off a cliff. Welcome to SmackDown. I'm GM Paul Heyman. If you want to compete on on SmackDown, you will have to follow my instructions. Follow my rules, and I will guarantee you title matches and WWE Gold. If you stray from my directions, it is game over for you. An important point to note, you must not only win your matches, but also have enough popularity. Right. No one wants to see an unpopular superstar's title match. Here are some tips to increase your popularity. Number 1, avoid one-dimensional offense and defensive strategies. Number 2, use all of your moves. Number 3, win the match with your finishing move. Number 4, use weapons in hardcore matches. Number 5, last but not least, win the match. I dare you to take SmackDown the hell off the air. Good, let's see what you're made of. Rey Mysterio needs a tryout match? Let's see what you got. I'll set up some practice matches. You had better win at least one match. Okay, Rey Mysterio versus John Cena. Oh shit. These are like more pixelated versions of the characters we saw in the last game, I feel like. I need you to see Rey Mysterio here, chat. This is 5'6" right here. This is 5'6", dude. But also they made him like light-skinned too. I don't I don't know what's up with this, but he looks like light-skinned. Rey Mysterio has never looked slower than he has here, I feel like. Light-skinned and tall. He looks so uncanny, dude. This isn't Rey Mysterio, this is a Caw, LMAO. Dude, I don't know how to fucking hit him. Chat, I think I'm gonna get taken the hell off of SmackDown at this rate. What is happening here? I'm getting just spelunked here by John Cena. Stop! Please! Let me... John Cena, please let me just get anything here, man. What do you mean that I can't fucking do that?
1, 2, 3.
Wow. Chad, I don't think I'm gonna be on SmackDown. Honestly. Are those all the moves you have? The audience likes variety. Give them what they want. I'm trying, man. I'm giving... You broke every rule, and now I'm throwing you the hell off the air. I literally... Nice! Oh my god, I can... Dude, I can do some moves. Wow. I can actually do some moves. Wow. Who'd have thought? Who'd have fucking thought that I could do some moves? As Rey Mysterio. Come on, Rob. Rob, I gotta hit my shit, man. I don't really understand what's not clicking with you. I gotta hit my shit. Nice. Tag yourself in the crowd. I'm Mark Henry holding up a Kurt Angle sign. That does look like Mark Henry though, doesn't it? I'm the guy in the big Cena fucking tank top here. Ray has like 2 moves, dude. This man is never getting on SmackDown at this point. Rey Mysterio has like 2 moves. Chat, I'm gonna be honest, I have no fucking clue how to do multiple strikes. I just have no clue. And now look at this, I'm probably gonna lose my second tryout match. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna lose my second tryout match. You know what? I'm good. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, dude. That's okay. Now, chat. I'm gonna run one more ad, and then we're gonna do the final game of the evening. Well, you know how wrestling giants are. They only ever do 2 or 3 moves at most. It's very fair. Because Rey Mysterio, the 6'9" monster, has like 3 moves. That's right. But now, chat, we're gonna take one more ad break, and then we'll do the final game of the evening.
It's break time. Where are
You
the
already know what
cheaters,
it
my
is,
dudes?
probably. I'll see you in a bit.
The primitive beauty, grace, and mysterious ways of animals have fascinated us ever since we were children. And now, through the captivating, colorful pages of Zoo Books, the publication especially created for young readers, your child will visit steamy jungles and grassy plains, the dark depths of the oceans, and the frozen Arctic wilderness to meet and learn surprising facts about the magnificent animals that live there. They'll discover the secrets of solitary predators and the strategies of hunting packs. Find out that sharks don't have a single bone in their body, and be amazed to learn that the largest animal in the world, the whale, survives by eating the smallest living organisms.
I've always had zoo books. Ever since I was little, I loved looking at the pictures. But now that I'm older, I use them to write school reports. They're cool.
Every issue of Zoo Books is packed with breathtaking full-color photos and scientifically accurate illustrations, and written so that the words and pictures work together to make reading and learning a fun experience. Your child will look forward to Zoo Books' monthly games and puzzles, and while they're playing, they're learning important concepts, building their vocabulary.
I use Zoo Books in my 3rd grade class and at home. My kids love them. Zoo Books make learning exciting and fun.
Right now, through this exclusive TV offer, you can get 12 fascinating issues of Zoo Books for the special low price of $19.95. What's more, call within the next 20 minutes and use your credit card, and we'll include this informative, fun-to-read issue dedicated to the largest of all land animals, the elephant. Yours absolutely free. Plus, as a special bonus, you'll get this colorful collection of animal stickers and this cool tiger poster that'll delight any youngster. So order Zoo Books now and send learning and fun to a child you love.
Reading was boring, but then I got zoo books. They're great. I can't wait till I get the next month's issue and find out what the new animal is.
To order 12 fascinating issues of Zoo Books for the unbelievable price of $19.95, call 1-800-441-2400. Remember, call within the next 20 minutes and we'll include the bonus elephant issue, stickers, and tiger poster absolutely free. You must be 18 years of age or older to call.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw, everybody, and the final game of the evening. You know what it is. It is the one and only WWF Betrayal. With the off-center goddamn THQ logo. This is the one developed by Way Forward. And obviously the most unique out of all the games here. With 4 characters here. Triple H, in quotation marks. I've never seen it stylized like that, chat. I've never seen Triple H styled like triple, in quotes, H. The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Undertaker. Oh, I think we gotta be old Stone Cold. Let's do it. Announcer. It looks like Austin really has Triple H on the ropes. We may have ourselves a new heavyweight champion. What the? Hey! What the hell? The Rock looking absolutely insane. The Rock says that Steve Austin should know his role. Triple H. That's what happens when you play the game. Dude, I don't think Triple H has ever looked that blonde in his life. Oh, God. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up for freaking Game Boy Color, chat. This is a very, like, unholy amalgamation, I feel like. Austin, I need your help. Move your pencil neck if you don't want it broken. Wait, I need you to rescue Stephanie. She's been kidnapped. Why should I trust you? What do I get? If you rescue my daughter, I'll give you a new title shot. Well, I'll tell you what, Vince, that sounds pretty good. I'll go and get myself multiple felony charges just so I could save your daughter's sorry ass from whoever it is kidnapped her. And then I'll be the new champ. Can I, like, put down the pipe? Or no? What? Oh my god. Big fat fucking ref here. Can I, like, put down the pipe, or am I just stuck with pipe-based offense throughout this? Okay, there we go. I just need to wait until I'm hit. Then maybe I could hit my finisher. Stone Cold looks like a bulldog, chat. I don't know how else to say this, but Stone Cold looks like a bulldog in this game. Why you just attacked Danny DeVito? I mean, he's fine. He's shown up like every 5 enemies. He's okay. This is a very just strange thing here, chat. I don't feel like there's any other wrestling game like this besides, like, I don't know, the revenge mode in Mania 19. Level 2, parking garage. Nice. Dude, and I have the wrench too. I'm using it to kill Danny DeVito, right where he stands. What the? Hey! Hey, yo! Man, I got electrocuted, chat. Yeah, that's right. You're done. I have a feeling that these taser guys are gonna be pretty tough. But it's a good thing I have this wrench, dude. Otherwise, it would be pretty tough, I feel like. Okay, well now I don't have the wrench. Chat, I don't know why Steam is Stone Cold's greatest, like, rival here. I don't know why it keeps hitting him, too. There we go. Dude, why is every single referee just out to get Stone Cold here? Nice. No. Please. Old Stone Cold has some crazy ass hitboxes, huh, son? My hitboxes are a little nuts. What? It's like there's gotta be like health pickups in this game, right? Because I'll tell you what, chat, it's not looking too good, especially when that happens. No way, I'm back at the beginning here? Ah, dude, that stinks. I'm back at the beginning of the parking lot, dude. I'm right back at the beginning of the parking lot here. So chat, while we're going through this, I may as well just kind of, you know, go over something that I think is a little funny. That being, like, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, or because, like, it really is just happening, and I'm only just now noticing it. But, like, it feels like holidays just come, like, sooner than they used to, right? Like, it feels like that holidays just in general, they come, like, much faster than they used to. Because, like, I'm going to Walmart right now, right? And I'm already seeing, like, Count Chocula, you know? I'm seeing all of, like, you know, the Halloween-themed foods and stuff like that. And I'm just like, listen, respectfully, it is fucking August. No! Like, respectfully, we're still in August. Maybe slow your roll a little bit, dude. So in terms of wrestling games like this, there was Antonio Inoki versus Jellicoe games, a beat-em-up game on mobile phones. What mobile phones? Because I feel like I need to find that. I feel like we need to find that and play it in like a weird anomaly stream. Because that sounds fucking nuts. What, like you're playing as Antonio Inoki and you're just beating up people throughout the Jellicoe Games offices? No. Oh no, I went too far. No, I do not want to. No, I don't want to redo this entire bit again. Wow. Dude, you're kidding me. You're kidding me, man. That's like 5 minutes of progress there that I just lost. That's some bullshit there. Oh no, and I wanted to dude, I went into this hoping that it was gonna be a little bit, like, easier. At least easier than, like, I remember it being. But not so. It doesn't help that they can just spam those tasers at me whenever they freaking want, dude. I mean, like, they could just spam those and there's nothing that I could do about it, I feel like. You know, like, what would you fucking do in, like, the, like, Antonio Inoki versus Jellicle Games? Yes, fucking Jellicle Games. It's like a Jellicle cat, chat. Give me your wrench. Give me the wrench. These are some very, like... I don't know how else to say this, chat, but these are some very, like, skimpy cops right here. Like, they are very tight in their presentation here. They're very, like, tight in their presentation. Here to me. Alright, here we go. I got my wrench back. Old Stone Cold's got his wrench back here, son. Dude, it's crazy how, like, fast they go down to the wrench. It's insane how fast they go down to the fucking wrench. The wrench is a cheat code, what can I say? How's this not level 3? What? Hey! Rock, quick, get her out of here, Undertaker. What about Stone Cold? The Rock can handle Stone Cold Steve Austin. Dude, the Undertaker literally says, "Where to, Stephanie?" Oh my god, Luthez Press? Oh shit, no. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yep, dead. I mean, listen, man, we kind of went into that with, like, not much of a chance, I feel like. Nice. He's done. Level 3. Street fight. Dude, why did they just bring, like, Terry Funk in here? They just brought, like, Terry Funk and cloned him multiple times. What the? What is that? Dude, what is that? Hold on. There we go. Okay, I was about to say, like, the ladder looked like it was, like, you know, hanging up and I couldn't, like, you know, go that way or whatever. Nice. Oh man, I don't get their nightstick. That stinks. Whatever. You know, it's very cool that we just have, like, you know, like, energy drinks just sitting in, like, these mailboxes. I wish there were more of them, because, you know, if I did have more of them, I'd probably not be as fucked up as I am right now. Oh, hey, there we go. Can I get, like, some extra lives over here, or do I just have to work with what I got now? Also, is that supposed to be like a Stone Cold Stunner? Because, like, I'm seeing, like, inverted DDTs and, like, neck breakers and stuff out of Stone Cold right now. I don't believe either of those are his finisher. No, like, I'm seeing inverted DDTs and, like, cutters out of Stone Cold right here. Level 4. The Subway. Oh, shit, man. I don't like Subway. Can we, like, go somewhere else, chat? Chat, can we please, like, go somewhere else? I don't really want to go to Subway. That sucks. Subway sucks. I'm back. Oh, God, betrayal. You came back just in time, brother. For the final game of the evening, and it is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, WWF Betrayal. And I'm gonna be trying to complete all of it. Whoa, what? Dude, we got Gun Tony Maniacs out here, what? Come on, give me that soda, it looks like. Just out here with the sodas? We're just out here with a bunch of sodas. But no, chat, I don't know if it's just me or if it's just, you know, that I'm getting older. What the fuck? What? Dude, I'm getting shot! Alright, chat, remember this password. Game over. Hold on. No, I'm writing down this password right here. Nintendo's so cool, be like, oh god, oh my god, they're shooting. Oh wait. Oh wait, I could just continue from where I was? Okay, well that's... Okay, well that's good. I was a little bit afraid I was gonna have to, like, do a whole new save. Dude, this is like a wrestling beat-em-up, and my health pickups are cake, soda, and energy drinks. I mean, I guess it's expecting a little too much for, like, Stone Cold to be, like, pulling out, like, a Steve Weiser in order to, like, regain his health. But, like, man, you can really tell this is, like, a way-forward game. Dude, they're just pulling guns out of their briefcases. Anyway, Nintendo's so cool, be like, I want a soda. What? Another soda. What? 3 soda. What? 4 sodas. What? 5 sodas. What? 6 sodas. What? And a big old slice of cake, son. And that's all I gotta say about that. And a big old slice of her big, white, juicy cake, son. And that's all I gotta say about that. What the f- Dude, these fucking briefcase guys. There's no relief with them. Ah! I cannot get any relief with these briefcases. They're just completely freaking spelunking me at every chance. Can't find a lot of info on the Inoki game. I thought maybe it was for like the end gauge or something. Well, it's funny that you mentioned the end gauge because there is, in fact, a wrestling game on the end gauge. And I was saving that for like a future stream. Just wow. It looks very crusty and cromulent at the same time. It is one of the most cromulent wrestling games I've ever seen. And a big old glass of soda pop, and that's all I gotta say about that. Dude, what are they even shooting out of these goddamn briefcases here? They like try to get like a vantage point on you. I like me some apples, son. I like me some fucking apples there, son. You got any on you? There's a Noki game. I found out their NL there was there was an Onita game. I'm sorry, there's a Setsushi dude, there's a fucking Onita game? Ah yes, thank you very much. An apple for my troubles. What the hell does an Onita game even look like? What do you do in it? You just kill dudes? Because, like, that's what I think of whenever you mention a friggin' Onita game. You just straight up kill dudes to death in friggin' FMW. The Atsushi Onita FMW game. I'll post about it in the Discord. Great, thank you. I would love to friggin' know about this. Because this would be another incredible anomaly. To like include in the stream. Yeah, exactly. Come. Exactly. Please come towards me. I don't want to run because, like, I feel like if I run, I'm just gonna be, like, you know, just throwing myself at these, like, briefcase gun guys. Okay, we made it, I think. Wait, hold on. Undertaker, try me, Austin. And I'll make you famous. And that's awesome. That's awesome. Oh my god. Dude, he has a fucking chokeslam as his finisher. That's insane. Come on. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Well, we take those, I guess. Lemon Dream Pie. Thank you very much for following. You're now a member of the Longboy Club. Life. I appreciate you being here. What is up? How are you doing? I enjoy your profile picture, by the way. I can tell we're gonna be good. Wait, hold on. Let me get a closer look at that. Oh,
hello,
goodness.
Mario.
What is this? What is your profile picture? Okay, I'm looking at your profile. I can tell you're gonna like it here, dude. Thank you very much for following. It's Meng after getting... the man called Meng! If you know what's good for you, you'll tell me where they took Stephanie's son. Undertaker. Titan Towers. You'd better not be lying to the rattlesnake, son, or else I'll come back here and jump up and stomp a mud hole so far up your ass they're gonna have to spelunk to find you. Oh shit. Unfortunately, Titan Towers has old Stone Cold's singular weakness, and that's police officers with stun guns. Nice. I can't wait for AEW this month. I can't either. I cannot wait for All In. Y'all should freaking join the Discord and you can watch it with the rest of the Longboy Club. I would love to see you over there. Yeah, right now we're trying to complete we're trying to complete betrayal here. Also, both the Inoki puzzle game and FMW game are played on NL and are on YouTube. Yeah, but I don't want to be spoiled for them, you know? Hey, stop! Hey, can you, like, stop with that, please? God, please. Oh man, you should do the retro achievements for this game. What, dude, what do the retro achievements look like for this? Like, what do you do? Ah, dude, stop. Ah, oh man, old Stone Cold's getting spelunked. Which game is this exactly? This is WWF Betrayal on the Game Boy Color, dude. We've been playing Game Boy wrestling games all night long, and here's the finale here. We're completing Betrayal here. Okay, so I'm a lemon dream pie. I'm going to, just to make sure, because hold on. Just to make sure, because, you know, I need to enforce my rules across the board. Do not send links in here without asking me first. Even though I know that, even though I'm almost certain that, you know, it goes somewhere safe, I need to enforce my rules evenly, you know? So I will say, if you want to post the retro achievements list in here, you may do that. Just in the future, ask, okay? Thank you, and I shall ask in the future. Thank you. I mean, like, 9 times out of 10, I'll say yes. Especially if you're a regular, because, you know, by then I'll trust you. But, you know, given how you're brand new, I just want to, you know, be... I want to enforce my rules evenly. That's fair. Dude, I need to stop walking into this guy's briefcase gun. You asked what it looked like, so I was supplying. It's very fair. But still. Anyways, enough of that. I'll look at the achievements here. This is... oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. You know, I've been hearing about retro achievements more and more lately, and I've just not really done anything with it. Complete the game in under 18 minutes. Starts once characters selected. Complete the game without losing a life. Complete the game without using a continue. Oh my god. Wait, complete the game without losing a life? How? And you get, like, achievements? And you get achievements for, like, completing the game? With, like, all of the, with, like, all 4 characters. I mean, these aren't, like, super insane achievements. Like, the most insane one is Hardcore Holly, where like, you need to, finish it without losing a life. Like, losing a life is very easy in this game, I feel like. It's very easy to die here. It is very easy to fucking die in this game. So, finishing it without losing a life, that is sadomasochistic, borderline. People in the comments under the achievements give hints and help out. That's cool. Dude, hold on. We got, like, breakdancers here? Oh, shit. It's 3 count. It's 3 count, dude. That was Shannon Moore, and that was fucking Evan Courageous, and there's Shane Helms, I'm pretty sure. OMG Flash Funk's Flash Funk is insane, dude. Like, can they just not touch me here? Old Stone Cold doesn't really enjoy breakdancing, son. You gotta get that dog shit out of my face. If you know what's good for you, son. That's your no-no square. That right there is old Stone Cold's no-no square. And if you know what's good for you, you'll back the fuck off of it right now, son. I worked with Flash Funk before. He was a no good piece of shit just like you. What? I feel bad for Too Cold Scorpio, man. My dude's had a rough go of life. It really does feel like that he's had a rough go of life between like prison sentencing here soon and just like the addiction issues. It's tough. Dude, they have me fucking stun-locked here. They had me fucking stun-locked. Okay, there we go. Jeez. Oh yeah, he stabbed someone recently. I forgot about that. He did. He did stab someone. But I will say that I hired him onto my TNA save at TEW, and I'm making him one of the veterans of the X Division. Which I feel like he deserves to, because I feel like it's very easy to, like, position him as, like, the original X Division guy, right? Like, someone that, like, fucking did that style before anyone even knew what that style was, you know? So last year I started a list of wrestlers who officially appeared in the most video games for different companies. In my... Oh, hold on. Who the hell is that? Old fucking bullets can't keep old Stone Cold down. Oh yeah, Too Cold Scorpio, Brian Pillman, and Midnight Express were the old school Flyers. They were. So like, I'm bringing in Too Cold Scorpio, and I'm having him team with Super Crazy. They're called Frio Extremo, and they will be one of the teams to first fight for the newly introduced X Division Tag Team titles. I don't know, just like Too Cold Scorpio and Super Crazy being a team, that just scratches my brain in a good way, chat. I don't know. It scratches my brain in a very nice way. Jack Evans needs some X Division love then. I mean, I signed him, dude. I signed him after, you know, the World X Cup. He will be sticking around. The thing is, in 2004 TNA, he is still pretty green. So, like, I'm gonna need to pair him up, like, with, you know, a veteran in order to give him some more reps. Probably Too Cold Scorpio, actually. Alright, here we go. I got my freaking night... Stone Cold's got his nightstick. What the fuck are you doing up there, Sable? Fuck you, Rock. Patooey. Fuck you, Rock. I'm gonna fucking kill you if you step in my way again. My way. It's my way or the highway. Triple H. I knew I couldn't trust you. Stephanie was never kidnapped. You let Triple H steal my title, and then you sent me on a wild goose chase, son. Straight man, don't trust anyone. Is it? Don't trust anyone. Isn't that your motto, Austin? Triple H, you and Stephanie get to the roof. I'll handle this. I'm gonna run you down, son. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm fucking killing the Undertaker to death here. All right, now we have the man himself. All right, hold on. Happy. So last year I started a list of wrestlers who officially appeared in the most video games for different companies, and in my research, found out that companies like All Japan Women's, Japanese Women's Wrestling Project, War, Noah, UWFI, and Rings all had video games. Yeah, but they're probably all like Japanese exclusive, right? I don't know, maybe I should play some of those in my JP exclusive games. Those sound pretty sick. I mean, they sound pretty sick, man. So, Austin, you made it through The Undertaker. I'll bet you the heavyweight title that you can't make it through me. I'll just read you a bit of Austin 316. What the? Hey! Well. Aw, man. Let's go wrestling. Aw, dang it. You like to find translation, but yeah, a couple of them are fun. I know that, like, there are people out there that have translated a lot of, like, you know, the New Japan and, like, you know, All Japan games specifically, you know? Triple H, you son of a bitch! Ah! Hold on, is that it? Now I'm the heavyweight champion, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Is that it? That's it, dude. Cool. Congratulations. Wow, that was... Dude. That was ass. That was no bueno right there. I don't really know what I was expecting there. But hey, we actually saw the credits on one of these games, so you know, there's that. There's that all day long, dude. This has been a very... I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Chad, this has been a not very good experience. I'm fine with not really playing any of these again. I'm fine with not playing any of these Game Boy games again. Most of them are pretty crummy, I would say. I mean, I think that, you know, the GBA, like, at least one of them had something pretty good. But, most of them are pretty goddamn, not great. And that was all the credits there. Wow. Wow. Okay, my ears are not liking this now. I played too much Game Boy today. So yeah, that was very stinky. That was a very stinky 4.5 hours. But chat, I'm glad that you were here to experience them with me. I had a lot of fun. And I hope you did too. We're gonna raid out here in just a second. Thank you very much, everyone. If you've not done so already, I'd really appreciate a follow over here on the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of this year. If we do get to 1,000 followers, we will hold 1K Mania, which will be a celebration of the Longboy Club in all of its glory. It will include dream matches that are requested by the audience. It will include the crowning of the very first ever Longboy Club Pro Champion and much more. If that sounds fantastic to you, I would really appreciate you following. Follow me on other things too. I am on TikTok, Blue Sky. I have 2 YouTube channels. I would appreciate you subbing to both. One of them is for highlights, and one of them is for VODs. And of course, pinned at the top of chat is my Discord server. Come on in. I would love to have you over there. We hold semi-regular watch-alongs over there of wrestling, including AEW All In, which I will be hosting a watch-along for at the end of the month. So yeah, chat, let's raid into somebody here. Not sure who, but I'll find them here for you real fast. Again, thank you for the follow. Both Lemon Dream Pie and Sports Nut. Let's do it. Here we go. Steph, on your Discord, I sent the videos of the Acclaim game commentary clips. Hopefully those will help. The Acclaim game commentary clips? Hold on. Oh, right. These. Oh yes, these will be very helpful. These will be very useful in the future. You're a saint. You are a saint. I will be farming those in the future. Do not worry about that. For now, let's raid into somebody. I don't know who, but I'll raid into them. You know what? I'll go ahead and raid into Puppet Proctor. It's very rare that I get to see him just live at all right now. So you know what? I'll fucking raid into him. And he is also a wrestling fan. So I think that you guys will get along with him just fine. And his avatar, at least for the most part, is a Muppet. We all love the Muppets over here, don't we? I do, at least. I like myself some fucking Muppets, alright? So there you go. That is the raid message. Long Boy Club love. Go on over there and show them some of it. Please. I beg of you to fucking do that. Let's start the raid. It seems like that he had a few connection issues, but fuck it. Let's go on over there and let's go show him some love, y'all. Thank you all very much. I'll see you on here next week for more fun. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.